Dear Pastor Bob, I want to be a Jesus freak again. I want to be confident in Him and rejoice in Him. I want my heart to be filled with joy, knowing He's never left me and never will. I believe that, but I'm not overwhelmed in joy. I want this to change because He has changed me in so many places, and I want to give Him His credit instead of giving it to myself. You know, I get a lot of people that say, what do you do when you don't feel it anymore? It's kind of like, how do you divorce God? Or how do you rekindle the relationship? That's kind of where a lot of people are at. And, you know, we're like that. We don't do well with relationships. The divorce rate is so high. And it's high for a reason, because we suck at this. We really do. Relationships take some work. If you're married and you don't put your wife first, and you kind of pay attention to every other woman around you, and you kind of lust after them, and you're doing pornography, and you're doing all these things on the side that isn't a loving thing to your wife, you'll have problems. You will have problems. There's no way around it. How do you get through that? Well, the problem isn't that that you don't really love your wife anymore necessarily. It's that you haven't put her at the center of the relationship, and you haven't given her the time that she needs. You know, the same thing is true with God. People say, well, when I was first a Christian, I was on fire and this and this and this. And many people are, not necessarily because of how they feel about God and their relationship, but they're excited about this new faith that they found. Yeah. But what do you do when that grows a little cold? The excitement of the faith kind of disappears and becomes an everyday fact for you. So many people fall in love with the church and not necessarily fall in love with God. Yeah. Takes a while to do that. It's not always automatic. You may have felt such relief that He saved you. That's awesome. You may have felt just this joy that He loves you unconditionally. But how about today? That was yesterday. Those kinds of feelings diminish after a while. And how do you keep that going? Because you continue to stoke the relationship. You continue to develop it, to spend time with them, to make sure that other things aren't grabbing your attention and kind of taking you in another path. And so many times that's it. The Bible says, don't let the world squeeze you into its mold, because the world has a mold. You know, people ask me all the time about music. What kind of music is okay to listen to? That's a hard thing to answer. For me, it's very specific. I don't listen to anything that doesn't match my lifestyle, and I make sure that my music is feeding me and it isn't interrupting my relationship with God. What would happen if I listened to bands that are talking about Satan and talking about sex and drugs and et cetera, et cetera? Well, I'd have a relationship with a problem with God then, because that would cut in on my relationship. What would happen if I got so caught up in other things? And music is just an example, but what if I got so caught up in so many other things that it just kind of took me away from where I need to be? Well, you see, it's just like any relationship. Your wife, your friend, your husband, whoever it might be, that will affect you. It absolutely will. You see, devotion is something we don't quite get, and we need to. You need to be devoted to God and make sure that you're not letting a lot of other messages come in, because they will come in and they will affect you. You know, advertisers spend millions of dollars advertising their products because they know that if they can get that into your head, you have a really good chance of buying their product. So if advertisers know it's true, why don't we? So that's the first thing. Make sure that you're doing that. Make sure that you're you're in the process of allowing him, first place, and your family and your friends. Because when anything else cuts in on those things, they will suffer. The number one word here, honestly, is devotion. We need to be devoted. We need to be devoted to God, devoted to family, devoted to the things that really matter. So, where is your heart today? What kinds of things are you allowing to come into your mind today? People say, I lost my first love. No, you just let other things crowd it out. It's still there. God hasn't moved. He's still there. It's up to you, and it's up to you to make the right decisions to allow him first place again. God bless you. Have a great day.